Insect pest. Insect pest is a numerous insect pest attack the mung crops. The loss rate may reach up to 70% depending on the severity of attack. Both crops have common insect pests. Some common insect pests of mung under management are as follows. Nadir ang whitefly, aphids, bed thrips, stingfly, butterfly, blue butterfly, bihar hairly caterpillar, same with red hairly caterpillar, pod borer, tobacco caterpillar, pod bug, storage pest. Whitefly is the Donicea tabaci, nymphs and adults such as sap from leaves causing downward cupping. The insect daw is nag-create na siya og honeydew resulting the soot mold affected the photosynthesis sa isa ka plants. Tapos, it is also vector number of a viral disease especially in mung bean yellow mosaic virus or MYMV. Aphids, adults and black shiny up to 2 mm long and some are winged. Nymphs and adults are seen in large number on a young plants, leaflets, stem pods, severe station leads to curly of leaves. Like, makita nato ni siya sa karabitang tanom nga murag katipok bitaw nga mga puti-puti nga lain kihawiran like ibutang nato nga atis. Ang leaves sa atis, stem sa atis, kay na dito ang kanang mga puti-puti bitaw nga lain kay murag kuto nga puti na nagtipuka. Bean thrips. The names and adults of megalorthrips can be located feeding out stigmas inside the flower, affecting the flower shoot before the opening and terminal shoot elongates. Severe infestation of plant leads to a bushy growth that the growth look dark green color, maybe only few pods with shriveled greens. Una siya. Stingfly. Stingfly is familiar kay nato ani. Stingfly opemia maggots mine. The leaves is maggots day siya. Leaves are bore into the leaf, petiole, or thin stem, resulting in weathering, dropping the death of plant. The characteristic symptoms of damage include dropping the first 2 leaves and yellowing of the plant. Site of the value attack early have larvae and pupae are swollen and start rooting. Gerita sa BR Hurley caterpillar. Spilactea female moth lay eggs on plants in field. The young caterpillar emerge out to start feeding on the plants in a gregarious form, eating away all the green matter on the leaves, leaving perfored dusty white color leaves in field. Like, ang kaning bihar caterpillar is pareha silag naong sa pagka-same silag naong sa kuan sa piring. But kani siya kay iyang balahibo kay kuan kanang lagda-lagda. So muni siya mailan ni siya kung sa isa ka tanom is bihar siya kay magkuan siya kana bitong kanon niya ang green tanan sa kuan tas magbilin siya white nga spot like kuan siya busot-busot siya pero na siya white nga murag mark bitaw niya nga yeah gyud. Then red hairly caterpillar is same ni siya sa bihar caterpillar. Ang sakta yang caterpillar refers to it the growing points of the plants like pareha sila sa bihar. Mag-leave gyapon siya og kuan, mag-leave gyapon siya og white pero ang iyang ginakaon kay entire seedlings. Kaning pod borer muni siya ang atoang tawag-ana. Familiar kay sa atoa. The immature stage of Helicoverpa feeds on all stage of plants. Defoliation is characterized by rounded chew marks and angle holes. Undercrops, rich flowering larvae prefer buds, flower, and sad buds. A young larva are more likely to feed on vegetative ferns. Like pag open bitaw nato sa atwang string beans or mga beans nga kuan, kaya makita nato siya sa sulod nga ulod siya nga gagmay nga ulod nga puti nga tambukon like pwede gapon siya sa eggplant, mga dagko kayo nga gagmay nga ulod nga tambok di ay nga ulod. Tapos another one is tobacco caterpillar. Familiar gapon ni siya sa tuwa kung natin mga tanom sa balay kay di ba usahay matingalat ang anong atong tanom kay busot-buslot nga wala man untay nagbusot-buslot ana. So ang cause ana is kaning tobacco caterpillar. Spodoptera caterpillars feed on gregariously on the leaf surface for about 2 to 3 days. Imagine mahurot niya to 2 to 3 days ra. Behind whitish membranous leaf only, the larvae makes irregular holes on the leaf's surface and several infestation. They skeletonize foliage and hide in cracks and creeps or plants debris in the soils during the daytime. O siya yung tigkaon daytime. Niya 2 to 3 days. Kani siya kay mailan nato ni siya nga tobacco caterpillar ni siya kay buslot-buslot tapos white ra. Like mahurot, skeleton yun ang atong nga stem na lang nabilin bitaw niya. The other one is storage pest. These insects are reported to fest the crop to drying stage and barnyard. However, they attack the moss pulses under storage condition can be caused as 100% losses. Sign and symptoms. Change in leaf color or textures can sign an insect problem. Leaving may cause spotted, speckled, or yellow when insects are present. Leaves might also become distorted or misshapen, often looking cupped and pinched. You may spot wibbling drape along leaf undersides or where leaves attack the stem. Management. Cultural control practices. Grow resistant varieties as per recommendation. Adapt early sowing during the summer to reduce the pest incidence. Intercropping with non-host crop like sorghums and pearl millet. Adapt timely irrigation summer, spring, or to minimize the trip manage. Mechanical control practices. Removal and destruction of MYVMP and pest plants. Use of light traps or bonfire against the hairy caterpillar moth. Install phenomena trap to monitor the moods of the Liatora and Helicoverpa armigera. Biocontrol. Spraying microbial biopesticides like Spodoptera, Helicoverpa NBP, or Bacillus thuringiensis. Formulation in synchroning with early larvae stars of this pest and others. Chemical control, seeds treatment, and foliar spraying of pesticides as per recommendation. Application of recommended granules insecticides to minimize thrips and white flyer, stain fly, jades, white fly, and diffusion. Application of eco-friendly and insecticides against the galerocid beetles, diffusion, and pod barrier.
Weeds on mung bean crops. One of the reasons why crops decrease yield reduction or loss of profit because of weeds. Weeds on mung bean can damage by competing for its moisture, nutrients, light, and space. The signs and symptoms of weeds in mung bean can cause iron chlorosis deficiency, stunt plant, poor tillage, poor establishment, dead, and other nutrient deficiencies. Management of weeds in cultural control should use clean mung bean seed, free planting space, and seed rate. To result a higher yield of mung bean, mulching is one of the best methods to control it. In physical control, hoeing and hand weeding are required to help remove the weeds. Avoid cultivation in the field to avoid spreading of bacterial and fungal diseases. Also, it should be planting using wider row spacing. For the chemical control, use dual or metallocor and Treflan or trifluoralin for excellent grass control and good suppression.
Disease pathogen. Nature of damage of pests. Mung bean has become a viable summer crop grown across Queensland and northern New South Wales. Disease continued to be a constraint to many mung bean in South in New South Wales and Queensland are a seed-borne bacterial disease. Tan spot and hollow blight and the fungal disease powdery mildew, emergent and less well understood disease are fusarium wilt and root, charcoal root knot and root lesion nematodes, phytoplasma, and other disorders such as gummy pad and puppy pad. Not all diseases are found in crops each year. The incidence and severity of disease will depend on the interaction between the pathogen, the host, the environment, and the vectors in the case of viruses and phytoplasmas. Hollow blight, tan spot, and powdery mildew are the most common disease of mung bean and are typically present each season. Signs and symptoms. Tan spot, also known as bacterial scourge or bacterial wilt, is caused by bacteria. Plants can be affected at all stages of growth. Seed-borne, in fact, it will result in seedling with symptoms seen in the first or second trifoliate leaf where large chlorotic areas develop. Affected seedlings often wilt and die. Those that survive will be stunted and remain a source of inoculum for later infection in the crop. Leaves in the order plants develop a scorched appearance with intervinal necrotic lesions surrounded by distinct chlorotic margin. Lesions become tan in color and become papery in nature. This may disintegrate during windy weather. The bacteria can cause death of florets and small pods may abort or remain stunted. The bacterium is taught vascular system from infected seeds or through wounds and on above-ground plant parts. For example, as a result of wind, rain, and hailstorm, the bacteria that causes the tan spot can survive on the plants without producing symptoms. Disease development is favored by high temperature at 30 degrees Celsius and plant stress. Hollow blight is caused by the bacterium Pseudomonas savastoni. It's similar to the tan spot. The pathogen that causes hollow blight can infect mung bean plants at any stage of growth. Symptoms are often visible at the first or second trifoliate leaf stage, characterized by small, water-soaked lesions that are surrounded by a yellow-green halo. Older lesions have less pronounced and merge to produce large necrotic regions. Lesions are visible on both sides of leaves, the lesions forming a red or brown crusty drop. So the bacteria that cause hollow blight is spread to healthy plants by water droplets from rainfall or overhead irrigations and contact between adjacent wet leaves. So the bacterium enters plant through wounds and the natural plant opening during periods of high humidity, similar to tan spot. The hollow blight bacterium can survive on the surface of both resistant and susceptible plants without producing any obvious symptoms of disease. The disease development is favored by color temperature to 18 to 23 degrees Celsius and wet weather. Powdery mildew of mung bean is caused by the fungus Podospera santi. The fungus has had multiple name changes in recent years, and its taxonomy remains unclear. P. santi can reduce yields by more than 40% in the conductive season. When established well before flowering, plants can be infected at any stage of growth. When airborne spores land on the plant surface and germinate, symptoms are first evident in the lower leaves as small, circular, white powdery colonies that can quickly move up plants and even the surface of leaves under ideal conditions. Management for disease pathogen. Cultural control, sanitation, crop rotation, and host eradication. The physical control removes all infected plants and destroys them. Do not put them in the compost pile as the virus may persist in infected plant matter. Monitor the rest of your plant closely, especially those that were located near infected plants. Disinfect garden tools after every use. Biological control. Among the tested biological control agents against M. pasolina, T. harryzanum was found to be the most effective against the fungus and resulted in 51% decrease in root severity and 31% in increase in the yield, followed by the B. subtilis. And the last one is chemical control. Chemical control, currently there are no permanent or there are no permitted or registered chemical treatment for the control of bacterial and fungal pathogens on mung bean seed. There are also no effective chemical treatments for the control of the bacterial disease from tan spot and hollow blight once they have established within a crop.
Next is the other pest of the mung bean. Nature of damaged pest. So we choose bean fly as a minor. Bean fly. It is usually a minor pest of mung beans. It is rarely seen in spring planted crops inland, but can appear in summer planted crops where successive plants of susceptible crops have allowed large population to build up in an area. Female bean flies lay very small eggs into the upper side of the leaf. The oviposition sites are marked by small, light-colored punctures. A severe attack on young plants may cause them to wilt and die. After hatching, larvae tunnel down into the stem and on older plant. The surface of the stem is split open near ground level. Yield and vigor of the plants is reduced and affected plants are susceptible lodging or fall over and mechanical damage exaggerated by wind. The sign and symptoms of this bean fly. It is small, dark brown to black lesions of cotyledons, oval or eye-shaped lesions on stems, which turn sunken and brown with purple to red margins. Stems may be break if cankers weaken stem pod. Pods drying and shrinking about areas of visible symptoms, reddish-brown spots on pods, which become circular and sunken with rust-colored margin. The management. First is the cultural control. It may be by gardens growing, planting, and cultivation to reduce pest damage and pest numbers. Physical control. The best way to avoid bean fly is to have plenty of compost in the bed, where you grow your beans so that they will have a full range of nutrients available to them. This pest tends to attack plants that are low in potassium. Biological control. There are several natural enemies of bean fly. Several brachyid wasp larva parasitoids of the Ophius species are widely used in both Asia and Africa. Products based on fungal pathogens of the fly were also tested as possible pest management tool. Chemical control. By spraying of chemical products containing imidacloprid into the soil simultaneously with sowing of the crop or immediately after germination is effective. Seedlings are treated about 3 to 4 days after emergence, and if bean fly infestation severe, repeated at 7 days and possibly at 14 days. That could be all. Thank you.